Today we're going to be talking about the ALS Association and why you should donate to it. The ALS Association is a very important nonprofit organization that leads the way in research, care services, public education, and public policy, giving help to those who suffer with ALS. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a nervous system disease that weakens muscles and impacts physical function. Today I'm going to share with you some reasons as to why you should donate to the ALS Association. I have spent a large amount of time reading about this association so that I can be sure that I'm giving you the correct information and to hopefully persuade you to donate. As ALS is a very serious disease, it is important to be well informed about what the association fights for before you make a decision. I will be explaining some facts and reasons as to why I deeply encourage you to donate to the ALS Association. The ALS Association is a huge project that would like to help people that suffer from the disease. The ALS Association was established in 1985 and is the only national non-profit organization fighting ALS on every single front. The mission of this association is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS and to advocate for and serve people with ALS to help them live out their lives to the fullest. ALS breaks down the nerve cells, which reduces muscle function. The cause of this is unknown. The main symptom that comes with ALS is extreme weakness in the muscles. Therapy and medication can slow the disease down, but there is no cure. ALS is fatal. On average, those who have been diagnosed with ALS do not survive more than a few years. However, some people can live longer. For example, Stephen Hawking was diagnosed with ALS at the age of 21 and lived until he was 76 years old. ALS causes the muscles in the body to weaken and results in trouble swallowing and speaking, as well as trouble with breathing. Someone that has ALS may also experience changes in their thinking and emotions. Muscle weakness is the first sign of ALS. According to the ALS Association, muscle weakness is the first sign in 60% of patients. Symptoms include tripping, difficulty buttoning clothes, and dropping things. The muscles might twitch and cramp and become very stiff. Over time, the muscles will eventually waste away completely. Over the course of months or even years, the weakness spreads throughout the body until all of the person's limbs are paralyzed. For each person, this progression spreads at a steady pace. However, the overall rate of progression can be different between each patient. At any point in a person's experience with ALS, they can have difficulty swallowing or breathing. These symptoms usually start to show later. In the form of ALS known as the bulbar onset ALS, these symptoms usually show up in the beginning. There's also a shorter rate of survival that goes along with this. Speech may sound soft, slurred, or thick, and the person may also drool. When they swallow, they may have liquid come out of their nose, and solids may get stuck in their throat. When this happens, there is a risk of food going into their lungs, causing pneumonia. Trouble with breathing causes symptoms like fatigue, shortness of breath, trouble sleeping, and headaches. These can happen at any point while ALS is making its way through the body. These symptoms get worse over time and are usually the reason that someone with ALS passes away. According to the ALS Association, a person that has been diagnosed has a life expectancy of 2 to 5 years. However, 10 to 20% of ALS patients live longer lives. Some think that if you are diagnosed with the disease at a younger age, you will have a longer life expectancy. This may explain why Stephen Hawking lived all the way into his 70s. About half of patients living with ALS experience problems with their thinking. About 5 to 10% suffer from a severe problem called frontotemporal dementia. The late stages of ALS include paralysis, extremely limited mobility, not being able to speak, not being able to breathe without a ventilator, and not being able to eat or drink without assistance. Donating to this organization is very easy to do. You can easily make an impact in this world by helping people with ALS. According to the ALS Association, someone is diagnosed with or dies from the disease every 90 minutes. This fatal disease can happen to anyone at any given time. It takes away the freedom to walk, to talk, to dance and run, to laugh, to hug, to eat and breathe. The ALS Association fights to give that freedom back and help empower people to live life to the fullest. The ALS Association leads the way in global research and helps 20,000 Americans living with ALS. If you donate today, your gift can help find a cure for ALS while providing care and support to families that suffer from this disease. The ALS Association needs more funding for their research. Through their global research program, they have funded more than $111 million to worldwide research collaborations. This has resulted in some of the greatest ALS discoveries. The ALS Association has completed some significant research findings, including the use of induced pluripotent stem cells generated from individual skin cells, the movement of antisense therapy in genetic forms of ALS into clinical trials, and the identific action of a gene that is the most important discovery made for ALS in 2 decades. In ALS, gene therapy may help if it can create a beneficial protein to salvage dying nerve cells. Gene therapy can be a means to boost on-site production of a helpful gene at places where nerve cells are in trouble. Research can stop many kinds of viruses and put it in the genetic instructions to make a therapeutic protein. These redesigned viruses are called vectors. Knowledge of the SOP1 mutations linked to some forms of ALS has produced a large body of evidence pointing to a strategy for the disease that might be successfully implemented through gene therapy. If you decide to donate to the ALS Association, it can help with gene therapy to find a cure or better treatment for ALS. In all, the ALS Association is a great nonprofit organization to donate to. I hope the information presented to you today has helped you to decide whether or not you would like to donate. Again, all of the data I used when formulating this presentation came from reliable sources. I encourage you to consider what you have heard today and to question if you think the ALS Association is a good choice. I encourage you to think about how terrible this disease is and how much your funds can help to find a cure for ALS and to give people that suffer from this disease a chance.